Testing, hello, whatever. Action. So, I don't know what exactly I'm going to say here. Off the cuff, unscripted, whatever. But basically, this video took me 8 years to get around to. A case study in procrastination, basically. What am I talking about? Almost 9 years ago, I self-published a Michael Jordan art book. I called it Project MJ23. More on that later. It's 23 paintings of Jordan and or his shoes, and each one has a poem I wrote to describe the painting, what it means, why I did it, how I did it, what he's doing in it, what part of his career it's about, etc. You know, at the time I was excited, told some friends and family, got some nice support, you know. Took me 3 years to do it, to finish it. And I hit the proverbial artist wall where you're willing to do the work that you know, the painting, you know, even in this case, some the writing. That took a long time too. But then leave marketing and promotion up to, you know, like the gods. Oh, please strike lightning on me. Let this get you know, viral or whatever, without doing anything. But then when I look back, and it's not that I did nothing. I did do a few promotional things. I attempted some things, but not enough. And I mean, doing this today, December 2025, when this book finished 2017, I regret not doing YouTube or something with video about it, because unless you grow a channel or something, or you're an outgoing, extroverted person, which a lot of struggling artists, whatever, are not, you got to put yourself out there. So that's what this is. And, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. Got a camera and a wall. But I figure I can make these videos, give a little background on it all, but essentially tell the story of each painting. I think what I will do is I'll go through one by one, and at the end of each video read you the poem after explaining what was going through my mind. But before that, I should use this intro to explain that before this project began, I never painted people or objects, because I have absolutely no training in painting. Never have. I had, I think, one class in my life when I was 10 years old, which was actually quite a good class. I learned something I used for life in that class, and I'll never forget it. And that has to do with masking tape. But I'll probably get around to explaining that more later. I don't want to get too sidetracked. But around that time, I was doing a lot of abstract painting, geometrical bridges, staircases, a lot of stuff that, if you know MC Escher, the artist with the black and white drawings, he do a lot of mindfuck shit. So I loved that. And I was trying to incorporate that into my paintings. And then, building those, I would get into my happy little place, whatever inebriation factored in during the process, I would sit down at night and look at it and build on it, right? Like that part became easy for me. I was doing that for 20 years. But I would see it and I would see like, oh man, like what would it look like if there was, you know, a penguin floating around on that thing, or, you know, any kind of object that I was restricted in my ability to do. And I was just learning Photoshop at that time, so I was taking the painting that I had, take a photo, and then I was superimposing things on Photoshop to get that imagination hole filled in my head. And that was fun, but it was like, I wished I could paint it. So around 2014, for whatever reason, I wanted to try to get better at it, and one of the first things I tried to do was Jordan's first shoe there, the Air Jordan 1. And, you know, gotta say thank you to this platform, YouTube, because I didn't know what I was doing. And so I was searching tutorials, and there's so many different styles to paint objects. So some weren't for me and some were, and I mixed and matched some things, and I taught myself some techniques that I liked, and basically started on that shoe. And I'm not the type to be like recording myself painting, but for whatever reason I did with that painting, and I'm really happy I did. So that ended up being the first painting in this book. And I made quite a few. See the shoe? I made quite a few videos about that painting. Keep in mind, I wasn't planning to do 23 or anything at this point. The book idea came much later. But I recorded that and I time-lapsed it, and I sent it around, and I thought, oh, that was a fun project to do that shoe. And later on, I came back to that, having that on YouTube, and with the help of some friends, I actually made a video about that. And I'll link those in the description. But that was a one-off. I wasn't planning anything, like I said, but later on I said, oh, you know, I want to do another one. So I did another shoe, the Concord. And I liked it, you know, I had fun with it. Kept going to the point where I had four Jordan shoes. I did the 3s, Jordan 4s. Anyway, at that point, the idea started to come to me, like I should do a 23-piece Jordan project. But it was either like, am I gonna do 23 pairs of shoes, or am I gonna actually fucking kick myself in the art butt and say, like, learn how to paint faces? Like, you want to put objects in your abstract work, you gotta at least be able to like have the confidence to do something like that. And then I went back to YouTube and I'm like, how to paint portraits. And there's so many different styles. I mean, people who I was watching went to school for this stuff. Like, they went to university and art school, and I didn't, but because of the internet, I could learn from them. And there were some people that like had the patience of, you know, I'll never have that. But I found other people who painted in a kind of more direct, quick, impatient way, and I was like, okay, I like what he does. Or, you know, she's good at this. So I was picking bits and pieces, and I was practicing. And I actually just remembered now, and I probably remembered then, that there was one Jordan painting I did way back in high school. So I did practice on a face before. It was like he was shooting a free throw. So it's funny that all those years later, at least 16, 17 years after high school, I came back to painting Jordan again, even though I had that one. And I remember I gave that paint, I wish I had it, but I think I gave it to my gym teacher when I left, when I graduated. Funny. So anyway, I was practicing, I was really doing some terrible Jordan faces, but I learned some stuff and some techniques that I liked, and I got better. And my style is like a painting version of like taking a bunch of clay and like manipulating it and just keep fixing it until it looks correct. So I just basically make mistakes and just try to fix it over and over and over again. It's faster for me. I don't have patience the other way. And so I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do 23, but it's not, not all shoes. I gotta paint the guy. Ironically, the first painting of him in this series is actually not even his face. It's from behind looking up at a banner, so it's not even his face. But that was the fifth one. By the sixth one, which I won't show now, I'll show later, but started to do the face. And I had some momentum. But I was like, man, doing 23 paintings is a lot. So I don't know how long this is going to take me, but I can't stop now. So it's there, that's 2014 to 2017. And, got it done. Then went through the unique rigmarole of self-publishing a book, which was interesting. And yeah, that's where I am now, and I regret not doing this sooner, but here I am. So what I'm gonna do is read this first one, show it to you, the Jordan one. I'm gonna read it, and then I'm gonna show a video that I actually did take time and effort with a friend to make back then, when I thought I was going to be doing more promotion. So you'll see how I'm pretty monotonous and boring reading this. How I co-read it with a friend of mine who's a rapper, and he's got like an interesting voice, and like, he sounds cool and I don't. But he reads a line and I read a line. It goes like that with some visuals. And then I will probably do the next one and the next one and the next one after that. Plus, in the years that have passed, I have done more Jordan paintings. I'll show those as well. But for now, the focus will be on these 23. So, without any further rambling, it is called The Ones of 84. While painting this piece, I kept thinking of all the trash talk MJ dished over the years. So when you take in the scene with your eyes, make sure to also open your ears. For example, the box and the shoe reminisce constantly. They talk about legacy most of all. Like how the mid-'80s were oblivious to a pending dominance of basketball. Specifically, think 1984, but not the Orwellian sort. Instead, a fresh rookie arrives in Chi-Town, a destined king of the court. Magic's Lakers in gold and Bird's Celtics in green, reluctantly yielding to a young kid in 23 red, barely out of his teens. And that roller coaster? It's a temporal metaphor with no real end or start. The track loops infinitely like MC Escher art. Each rung represents a different Bulls game where greatness transpired, from the rookie's first bucket to the day he finally officially retired. But let's return to the focal point and the title headline, the Jordan 1 shoe. It was also entering its formative stages of a legacy, a brand that grew and grew. Retrospectively, when we look back and see, Both the rookie and the shoe became icons of sport and fashion footwear, respectively. But Larry Legend said it best in '86, after MJ, in those shoes, dropped 63 at the Garden. He couldn't believe what he witnessed. He's God disguised as Michael Jordan. Yeah, so I'll show you the video I made on that. And, I just want to say, I'm probably doing this now because I've been watching people on YouTube start up new channels, just, talking, putting it out there, and just being like, whatever they have to share, just doing it, right? Don't hold back. And I don't know why I just don't have the restrictive, nothing's holding me back now that did before. Like, I guess I just don't care to put myself out there. But before I was always like, stay behind the camera kind of person, or just hope some, a couple posts on Instagram or Facebook will lead to something, or I even try to ads. But just if you're out there painting and you're open to promote it some way, try this, see what happens. Thanks for watching episode 1 of Project MJ23. Project MJ23 is an experience of traveling back into time. This painting on the left, entitled The Ones of '84, is the first of 23 I'll try to explain in rhyme. While painting this piece, I kept thinking of all the trash talk MJ dished over the years.
So when you take this scene in with your eyes, make sure you also open your ears.
For example, the box and shoe reminisce constantly. They talk about legacy most of all.
Like how the mid-'80s were oblivious to a pending dominance on basketball. Specifically, think 1984, but not the Orwellian sort.
Instead, a fresh rookie arrives in Chi-Town, a destined king of the court.
Magic's Lakers in gold and Bird's Celtics in green.
Reluctantly yielding to a young kid in 23 red, barely out of his teens. And that roller coaster, it's a temporal metaphor with no real end or start.
The track loops infinitely like MC Escher art.
Each run represents a different Bulls game where greatness transpired.
From a rookie's first bucket to the day he finally officially retired.
But let's return to the focal point and the title headline, the Jordan 1 shoe. It was also entering its formative stages of a legacy, a brand that grew and grew.
Retrospectively, when we look back and see both the rookie and the shoe became icons of the sport and fashion footwear, respectively.
But Larry Legend said it best in '86, after MJ, in those ones, dropped 63 at the Garden.
He couldn't believe what he witnessed. He's God disguised as Michael Jordan.